Illinois residential purchase agreement is an important document when buying or selling a home. Legally binding once signed by the buyer and seller, the contract outlines all of the terms of the transaction, including the purchase price, financing, and the rights and obligations of each party. In this video, we'll cover how a residential purchase agreement works, the legal requirements in Illinois, and what you need to create one. We're eForms, the biggest online database for legal documents. Stick around and we'll tell you where you can find an official residential purchase agreement specific to Illinois. First, let's review how does a residential purchase agreement exactly work. The residential purchase agreement acts as a roadmap for the transaction, listing how much they're willing to pay for the house, how it will be financed, and any contingencies that must be met, or the buyer has the right to terminate the contract. Typically, it takes some negotiation between the buyer and the seller to reach an agreement on all of the aspects of the contract. Once an agreement is met, both the buyer and the seller sign the document, making it legally bound. This means that the agreement can only be terminated if both parties agree to it or if a legal requirement or contractual contingency is not met. So, what are the legal requirements in Illinois? In Illinois, the seller is legally required to disclose information about any material defects or unsafe conditions on the property. This includes issues about roofing, plumbing, drainage, foundation, electrical, and more. In addition, the seller must inform the buyer about radon gas testing guidelines and any exposure on the property. Lastly, under federal law, the seller must disclose the property's history of lead-based paint exposure if it was built before 1978. Now that we know more about how a residential purchase agreement works and what is legally required, here are some things you should do to make the process go smoothly. Include a mortgage pre-approval letter. A mortgage pre-approval letter is a document from the bank estimating how much it is willing to lend to the buyer based on their credit history, income, debts, and assets. This helps the seller determine whether the buyer is financially credible. Offer an earnest money deposit. An earnest money deposit is a percentage of the offer and provided to the seller as a show of good faith. It is written into the residential purchase agreement and typically delivered when the agreement is signed. Use an addendum to modify or add to the agreement. An addendum is often included with a residential purchase agreement to add to or amend any terms and conditions. It can also detail a contingency which allows either party to opt out of the contract if certain terms are not met. If you're in need of an official Illinois residential purchase agreement, you can get started by clicking the link right here. Also hit that subscribe button for more videos that help simplify the legal process for everything ranging from buying or selling a house to making a will.